the landscaping outside is finished to make residents feel right at home. But most of all, Mary's place is a safe haven until a permanent home can be found.
There's no affordable housing, and the increased amount of need for shelter is just incredible. See, I try to give people just a little time over there to rest their spirit, to get on their feet. Well, in the last couple of years, when I just haven't been able to see that they can get housing within a month, month and a half. It's just a terrible crisis out there, so I give people up to 3 to 4 to 5 months, some of them even longer.
This is the Children's Activity Center, a bright, inviting place that offers kids a cheery contrast to the often stark realities posed by their lives outside these walls. It's a place that allows kids to be kids, a safe environment for the children who come here, filled with amenities that encourage exploration, learning, and just plain old fun. Also notice how beautiful and new everything is in here. It's all top of the line. That's because Mary Jo says these kids deserve nothing but the best. In fact, she knew what it was like to grow up with very little, so it gives her great joy to see the smiles when the kids enter this place. Just downstairs is the Teen Center. That's run by Rob Wills, a longtime family friend.
Did a couple sets. I was riding in the back of my buddy's pickup truck and we slammed it into the 694 bridge. So I broke my back, and so I'm paralyzed from about the sternum down.
I got it 6. One more.
And so what I did is I got, myself together after I got out of the hospital and started, looking for work, got a job at North Memorial. And then after that, then Mary called me and said, come on down here, because I think you'd be a shining example. Just you sitting there in your wheelchair will show those kids that you can be, you can, no matter what happens to you, you can still work and you can still do a lot of things. What's that? Watch out. We talk about, you name it, God, we talk about what their goals are in life. But we teach them morals and values and how to be a good person. You see where they're coming from. They're being dragged from homeless shelter to homeless shelter, and you're thinking that they're going to follow the same steps as their parents, but actually see a kid graduate high school, get into first year of college. Actually really be a productive part of society. That's the best and the biggest highlight that I see.
You're dealing with poverty, not just homelessness now. Everybody's got this, we're going to end homelessness, we're talking about people in poverty. People that have lived in such a way that they haven't had the chance to live like a lot of us, haven't had the parents and the values and the structure. And I think that if we can help that person, and what helps persons like that is giving them hope, giving them dignity, not just passing them off as nothing. And you can't always know what'll happen with that kindness and that. It can make a miracle happen. And so we are all God's peace. We are all His instruments of His peace. And I think that we need to realize that, and I'd love to tell it to the country. And maybe this video will, to let people know we have to all reach out and make a difference in our relationships with people.
This is a nice man. His name is Favorite, Mr. Favorite.
It isn't hard to see the heartfelt compassion Mary Jo has for every person who comes through these doors.
Morning. Morning.
A day doesn't go by that she isn't moved to tears over the plight of someone who's out of work or in an abusive relationship, or someone who has dire medical needs with no insurance. She also shares her faith with joy. A devout Catholic, Mary Jo believes that every person who comes to her for help is made in the image and likeness of Christ. That is why you see her literally getting down on her knees to wash the blistered feet of the homeless men and women who come here. While Mary Jo loves all of the people who come in here, she has a particular fondness for the children. She purposely fills her pockets each day with dollar bills, so she has a little surprise to hand out to the kids who come in. And as busy as she is running this place, she always takes time to pray with the kids, telling them to thank God and to ask for His help because He's the hope they need, just as He was for her as a child. Do they get the message? Well, just take a look at how they react to her at her Thursday night gatherings.
If you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know it, and your face will really show. If you're happy and you know it, say amen.
The family that prays together, hearts like doors, open with ease, when you say thank you and if you please. I always tell you that. Kindness is cool. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What do you want to be when you grow up?
nurse.
A nurse, right here. And you can give shots and be my nurse. I'd never be sick if I was. When you look at the children that come through and they have nothing, absolutely nothing, and you hand a child a dollar bill and this child is sitting in the lobby, it's kind of like capturing that child's heart, letting them know that someone cares. It's a treat. It's something that I felt is so important for a child to see, especially, you know, the kids have, I've got a pop machine down there at Mary's place, and they get their dollar bills and they get their pop machine, and it's a treat. People are blaming the poor. They could get a job. This guy is a bum. This person could go to work. They're using the system, and we hide behind all that blame. And we aren't facing that isn't always the case. Most of it isn't. Most of it's there through no fault of their own. And I want to be that example, to continue to serve God's poor and be that example of being hope to hundreds and thousands of people before I go to heaven.
Please welcome Mary Jo Copeland.
Thanks a lot for inviting me here tonight. You know, I came in here tonight and I really felt the presence of God. I felt the peace. I felt that so many people here tonight love Jesus Christ so much. And you're our present and future voices of Jesus Christ. Each one of you here tonight are the movers and the shakers and are going to bring the message of God to this world. Every day of my life, I work with the homeless, people in poverty, the poor, the lost, the broken, those that live within anger, fear, loneliness. Many of them have alienation from family. All of them born in a set of circumstances they didn't ask to be. Every one of them waiting for the good news of Jesus Christ to be brought to them. A few years ago, I met a man on the street. I will never forget it. He had a knit hat that came right over his eyes. He wore dirty, raggedy clothes. He had big black boots. Oh, and he carried a big potato sack. And in that potato sack, everything he owned clinked and clanked. Oh, he was so angry. You'd go near him and he'd say, "Get away from me, get away from me." And I knew he had bad feet, so I convinced him to sit down and soak his feet one afternoon. And he didn't even want me to go near him. He was so angry. People that live outside get very angry and very upset because they've been hurt. So I knelt down and I started to yank off his black boots and then his wet socks. Oh my gosh, I have never seen such sores in all of my life. And I looked up at him and I said, "How does your feet get so bad, Brian?" He says, "Mary Jo, I live outside and I try to soak them in the river every single day, but they don't get any better." And then his story unfolded. He said, "Every time I close my eyes at night, I picture my dad and my brother beating my head against the bumper of a car, taking a billy club to my face. 'I'm gonna beat you, boy.'" He said, "You know, when I was 15 years old, they tried to drown me. They tried to suffocate me. And I slept in my own urine for 5 days at a crack because they handcuffed me to beat me up, Mary Jo, and I couldn't crawl to the bathroom. I never had a bike. I never had a ball. I never smelled a homemade cookie.